What about crime, knife crime, things like that? I mean, it's gone up in a big way since season 2. What do you make of all that?
I mean, first and foremost, as a parent, it's scary. It's scary for me. And like I kind of touched on it before when I was saying about, speaking to a lot of the people that are involved in knife crime or potentially will be, and just how much they don't care about the consequences or the act of hurting someone else or taking someone else's life is really scary. It's really scary. But I see some of the reasons why. And I, as scared as I am, I understand that, some of them, it's brainwashing, there's a lot of mental health issues here.
Talk about that.
Well, I just feel, if you put it this way, if most of the kids you'll speak to now, because the crime has gone up so much, a lot of their friends have already been stabbed or stabbed other people or whatever. They're dealing with stress off the back of that. But in males, we're not meant to be, as far as we're concerned, we're not meant to be talking to each other about how hurt we feel about our loss or whatever. And if we do express it in any way, your peer group expect it to be in a masculine way. And as far as they're concerned, that means retaliation, or it means talking about retaliation, or, giving their parents that, you want to avenge the death of your friend or this and that or whatever. And it's just like, that's what we've been teaching each other for years. And this is why we have such a high rate of suicide. Do you know what I mean? Amongst men. It's because dialogue is just not there. And we're just not taught to be open with one another about how we feel. And a lot of that, I'm not saying that's going to solve everything, but I think it will deal with a lot of these issues are about mental health and about post-traumatic stress, man. And, if we understand that these people are, they're not in Afghanistan, they're not in like the craziest war zone in the world, but it's a war zone. It's an everyday battle for a lot of these kids to get up and not know if someone looks at them wrong, are they going to be stabbed? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? And that mind mess can make you do some really crazy shit. And I know because I went and got my gun when I was in that situation. I look back now and I'm like, what was I doing? But everyone around me was talking about guns then. Everyone around me had guns or whatever. So for me, it was like, obviously, that's a normal thing to do for me to protect myself. So I don't know what else we can be expecting from these kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously you want them to do better, but it's just gonna come from us really stepping in and, from the top down, just trying to engage with them on their level in some sort of way. And that has been proved to work. It has been proved that if you do fund a studio, people are gonna, it brings crime rate down. You know what I mean? It gives people focus, it gives people ambition, inspiration, and all of those good things that are needed right now. But then saying that as well, I don't want to be so, because it is happening more, but it's a small group of people. And I think as well, there's part of the reason is because we're not actually talking enough about the good. There's a lot of negative talk, but then there's some real dope kids doing some real good shit, man.
Right, and that needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, and they're making some really righteous, real decisions at a young age and choosing to go against that. Like the majority are choosing to go against that. It's only very small.
And Top Boy Academy is a little bit about like trying to go out and promote, the arts and that kind of thing to a lot of people in the community.
And a bit more. I think it's a bit more about changing the process of how the game works. I think Netflix are quite, they're quite savvy about it. And how do we create the stars of tomorrow? How do we create the new writers? How do we help new directors? You know, all of those jobs that are behind the scenes as well that kind of people don't speak about or have a very kind of, you know, are driven driven by nepotism most of the time. And it's all about who you know in those groups and those sectors. How do we kind of infiltrate that? How do we create more new people? How do we get new people into those positions? And I think when we did Top Boy, Netflix were very adamant about kind of having this shadowing scheme. So every director had an assistant director who was shadowing. And they are kind of all going to be looked at if there is another season for the next season, you know, so they'll have some involvement in that. But it's just about kind of giving people tangible kind of routes to market. You've done film school or whatever. Now, how do I direct something?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to help me or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to do a short film. You have to get that into Cannes. You have to get that into, well, how do I do that? Well, do you know what I mean? It's just giving people like tangible routes to market and kind of also the, you know, the Top Boy Academy was about just kind of opening up people's minds to what you can do. Most people are gonna gravitate to being either me, you know, Deshane or Sully or an actor or whatever, but actually, unless we write the show, we don't really control the narrative. We don't have the most powerful jobs on set, so how about here, you know, looking to being a writer or a script editor or a script developer or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lighting. It's like a huge thing for a show. You know, if you get lighting wrong, it doesn't matter how good your actors are, you ain't gonna look right.
You can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.